Well, can probably get a few people, get some chat on, I guess. Probably get a few people, get some chat on, I guess. Hey, what's going on, Lisa? How are you? Hope your day's going fairly well. I saw that your daughter's sugars were super low in Rico's chat there. Before I had to run out and do some stuff, produce a couple videos, and a fairly productive day. I'm sorry you have a terrible headache. You don't want to hear what my wife's cure for a headache is. It's not YouTube HR friendly. I think she's lying. Yeah. It's all right. You reminded me to check mine. I don't check mine every day, but I do when I'm not feeling quite right. So I was pretty good, 7.2, which is not all that bad for me. No, so I decided if you look at the rock, patience be damned. And if you look at that rock now, that's fairly cleaned off. That's how effective hydrogen peroxide in a brush is. I could not find the clown goby, so I'm hoping that he wasn't in that rock the whole time. There wasn't really a lot of spaces for him, but I didn't see him in the tub. I didn't drain the tub until I searched that water religiously looking for him. And if he went down the drain, well, God bless him. He's free now. My wife will be mad, but, oops. I'm sure I'll see him. He's pretty tiny, but I did really thoroughly check that, the salt water when I was pouring it over to rinse the rock. So I made sure he wasn't like floating around in there somewhere that, you can. My clowns aren't really letting me in there very much. But you can physically go in there and pull that off. You'd be there all day, though. But it's not a bad idea. If you watch Malev's Reef, he does one on algae removal. And if you have the opportunity to do it that way, there's a couple of products you can get that will let you almost kind of loosen its grip and get it down to where the creatures can handle it. But if you're watching Casper there now, the lawnmower, as he pulls at it and decides not to eat it, he's actually putting it up in the water column so that it actually goes down my sump and gets removed. So, but I went out and bought some new brass brushes and steel brushes, and I really scrubbed at that rock really well. I got probably 80-90% off. So, and welcome to anyone else showing up. I'm sure I see a few people are popping in. Feel free to comment or ask questions. If you want to come into the hangout, speak to me as well. See, we get a few of the regulars in here today. I had the most monumentally weird thing said to me today. A fellow reefer, I use the big bag of Chemi Pure Blue, and I put it in at 20. He goes, "Well, isn't that wasting it? I just bought one. Shouldn't I half it or quarter it?" And I went, "Why?" He goes, "Well, you'll waste it in 2 months." And I went, No, it'll probably last 6 months in a 20. But it's all being touched. It was just this weird logic he had come up with, and I'm like, do what you want. What else can I say here? I'm not here to debate how you do that. You can do that any way you like, whatever works for you. Big F word. Just right. Don't pester me with a pedantic, trivial detail like that. You know, let's just what? So I'll fix up my link here. Why does it not want to let me link that? Well, then let's do the refresh show thing here. Probably stressing my system a little bit here too, that I'm also doing a video at the same time, compressing it down. Wow, that really doesn't want to let me do that. Let's go this way. It's, yeah, so that's not just me today. Everyone's having that problem. Yeehaw. Fuck. F words. Try doing it through a different way here. See if this works. Huh. Well, that's all right. Anybody I want to get in the hangout, I know most of you guys. So I can just, you know, shoot you an email. Anybody else who wants to come in, well, we'll tell them that's the way it's got to be. I don't think she's swapping over Jeff so much as, well, I guess you're swapping that 40 over. So I guess the same. Yeah. Yeah, I've got your equipment. I just got to get it shipped out to you here. So actually, I'm going to go looking for a box today. Jeff's waiting till the end of the month for some reason. He told me. I forgot. Sorry. I have. We're going to get barely anybody. I just noticed Reefing Community came on. We'll get a few. You never know. They might come over here. So that's it. There we go. That's why. No. Yeah, that's why we don't see him much. Busy, busy boy. Was that him showing off his pool and everything the other night? I barely even noticed. I know. Yeah, that was Jeff, right? AR Reefing, I think. No. Yeah, it was him. I thought so. No. So yeah, it's been. It was a fairly productive day. I cleaned that tank. I scrubbed that rock. I was gonna wait, like I said, impatience got the better of me, and I said, "No, I'm done." It was really thick. Holy crap! That left rock, that was worse than the right one. So I probably took the right tactic, and throughout the day today, you're probably going to see me take each one of those frags out, clean them, spray them, and then put them back in and let them readjust. I've got 5 gallons of salt water already set up at 2.4. I just got to let it mix up a little longer, so it stays 2.4. Oh. And we'll take it from there. But that Montepore is looking pretty decent and polypy up front. I'm pretty happy to see that. And we'll keep our eyes peeled for that clown goby, right? And then if I did manage to kill it, we're not telling my wife, right? falls under a Craig oops moment. I wonder if I do that. Will that work? Well, look at that. There we go. So that works, but the Bitly ones aren't working. The redirects. Go figure. And if you're using Google Chrome, that is working. Go figure. All right, I'm going to grab a coffee. The link's up there if either of you guys or anyone wants to pop in for a minute or chat or whatever, and I'll be right back. Oh, so we're going to lose Lisa. That's all right. Is that one not working for you? Yeah, it's weird, man. The links never seem to work for you, eh? I can get you in. Do me a favor. Give me a second here. Email me your address because mine's actually public because of this. But go ahead and email that address, your email to that address, and I will pull you in that way. It's easier. What are you doing, Damien? Yeah. It always is. I'm about to take painkillers. I cracked another effing tooth last night trying to eat supper. Maybe a couple more months, and then I'll have my my dentures, and I won't have to worry about it anymore. I can put my pretty mug on camera all the time and not be embarrassed about anything. It's the way I look at it. Yeah, it happens. So between all the bad habits of my life and having diabetes, I brushed my teeth. I faithfully brushed my teeth 3 times a day, and I got all the dental work done, but my teeth started to rot out of my head young. It seems to run in the family, and then when you add the diabetes, it just soft enamel and that don't mix, so they started snapping. I figured out one day that my parents and myself had spent something close to $32,000 in dental work on my face up until my 30s. And I'm like, no, I'm done. Yeah. All right, so let's see here. All right, so I got my email up, Jeff. So whenever you want to shoot that off, or you can put it up in here. Doesn't matter to me. I'll just remove it. Da, 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 da. Oh, the amount of spam email I get is unreal. There we go. Oh. Try that again. Copy. And go ahead and remove. Actually, I'll remove it. There we go. Nobody will see it. There we go, Captain. You get that little notification shortly. Yeah. Yep, just me and you, dude. That's all right. We'll get a few stragglers, I'm sure. Because Paul's streams are huge too. Yeah. And I got no problem with that. It's just sometimes, man, if someone's asking a question, you can just see it. It's just gone. There's just too many in the chat. And there's nothing you can do about that unless you have someone moderating the chat only. Which if I ever see mine getting that way, I think that's kind of where I'll work, is to see about keeping it kind of level that way. Hey, there's a man.
How's it going?
Not bad. How's life treating you, buddy?
Oh, I'm sore this morning.
Well, that's not a good thing. Show off your tank just for anyone who's in here. Someone's here.
At least I'm still on the right side of the dirt.
Now, yeah, that's the only thing to be thankful of these days, eh? That stick you have on the top, is that a Montipora or is that a green slimer?
It's a green slimer.
Yeah. I think that's what triggered me to buy the Montipora that I saw, that I got a good deal on. $10 for the frag. Why the hell not try again, right?
Yeah, I've only got a couple of Montipora. I've got this, well, the lights affect it badly, but it's kind of a purple digitata here.
Yeah.
For some reason, this is a forest fire.
Yeah, he's orange.
But when I transferred it over to this tank for my other, a branch broke off of it, and it hasn't grown any new branches yet.
No, he will.
Then
I would imagine he will.
Monty Cap.
Yeah.
And then my, you probably can't see it very well. This one was a very expensive piece, and it's freaking me out.
What kind of? That's a Monty too, isn't it?
Yeah. The LFS guy. I have a pretty good relationship with him. I guess we'd say he's my friend. So he gave it to me for $150, but he was asking $300. It's kind of a neat piece. It's yellow and orange and has green polyps.
Oh.
And then I've got some of this Superman encrusting over here.
That's what I want. I want to get to the point where I got a Superman mushroom going in the tank. I want to get a Superman Monty. And I'm not sure which way I'm going to go with that, but I'm going to wait. Things are starting to kind of level off. Like that 20, I'm, thoroughly will tell anyone I am being extremely abusive because of the algae, but it's a calculated risk. I'm not going to hurt the fish. I know that. The coral that are in there, I could, but it's a calculated risk, I guess is the way to put it.
Right.
But and I've done it before, so it's going on that premise that I've done it a couple of times. So let's do it again. And the tank will balance out after this. I don't need to keep going in there. I may have to go in with a syringe and spot, but I shouldn't have to get really aggressive. So, you know, it's what it is.
So,
cleaner going to town there. Oh, you're fetching up on my boy.
yeah, they fish haven't been flashing, so they don't have white spots on them either. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to wait a week. You have to be vigilant. That's all. And if you don't see any more, so be it. Right? Go ahead.
That's the hope.
That's the so.
I don't know if you can see, but UV sterilizer down there in the sump.
Yeah.
Just
vaguely. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all these lights play havoc on the phone.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything's starting to encrust. You see some of these acros encrusting on the rock. Things are kind of taking off.
Yeah. Well, you got good lighting. Your water seems to be pretty good. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I've got 0 phosphate and 0 nitrate, which a lot of people would say is bad, but I dose Reef Energy A and B.
Yeah.
Every morning. I feed pretty heavy, so there's nutrients in there. It's just not, phosphate and whatnot.
Yeah, it could be just getting used up really quick too, right? That's fine. It's funny. I'm sitting here going, I'm more excited to see where the tanks are going to go in the next 6 months than I have been in the last 3 years. And the wife's like, really? I went, yeah. I said, because I'm just sort of getting to that point where I kind of have a handle on what the hell's going on. And she's like, right. I said, so now it's a matter of, okay, so we know what we've got to do with the main tank. We got to get that red coralline under control because it's just such an invasive coralline that it's just wreaking havoc in my tank, right? Like I'll put something in there, and if it even remotely suffers, it takes over. And it's like it just forces that coral, into a corner, so to speak, right? So,
yeah. Not only that, it consumes so much alkalinity.
Yep. But it's going to be. I'm going to wind up dosing, and it's going to end up being heavy dosing. I know that's what's going to happen. And my LFS guy has the coral box kit, so it's got the 4-container acrylic container, and the dosing pump, and all the accoutrements that you need. And he's got a good price on it, $230 for the entire kit, which isn't bad. But right now it's a little cost prohibitive for me to get into, right? So, but we'll see. We'll see. Go ahead.
It's just a money pit. That's all.
Oh yeah. My wife even agrees with me that it's throw your money in the tank and set it on fire. That's that's what we're doing, right? And it's like, yeah, it's true.
You see this blue acropora with the green
polyp?
Do you happen to know what that is?
Under that light, no. But it looks like a blueberry, but
that's what I thought it was too. I had a debate with someone, but
how long till your whites come on?
They're just, as you can see, they're just coming on.
Yeah. Wait a little bit. Yeah, I know a guy that I can get to identify just about anything. Yeah. So, yeah, the most expensive coral, the only one that ever made me choke, was an Australian blue bottle brush. And it's a type of fan, sea fan. And oh my, it's like one of those, wow, really? Somebody's willing to pay that for that? And it's a coral that can die so quick on you because it's a filter feeder. And it's like, oh, that's just ooch. What do we got there? It almost looks like a tricolor bally. But it's not. Well, so there's is there blue, red, and green going on in that?
There is.
That's a tricolor.
Okay.
Yeah. tricolor Bali, I do believe. I forget what the Bali stands for, but yeah.
I just went ahead and turned them all on so you could kind of
Yeah.
see a little.
And
But
everything looks nice and healthy.
yeah, thanks. For a tank being, I kind of like this piece too. It's real slow growing though.
Yeah.
My the guy at the LFS just went through his display tank and started clipping frags off for me. So you can see some of them. They were all about the same size.
Yeah.
How different they grow.
Yeah. What you got a style? There's big purple stylo to the left there, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. That he gave me a bigger piece of that. He didn't seem to really care.
It's not an expensive coral. That seems to be the big beginner one. So it's quite popular.
See, yeah,
Yeah, it's really hard to tell. You can see the green really well, but you don't see a lot of the other color, right?
it actually to my eye looks more yellow.
Yeah.
But at any rate,
Yeah.
so.
No, it looks great, man. Tank does look good. And like I said, all we got to do now, I guess, is wait and see if you wind up with more white spot, really.
Yeah, that's my concern. Now with the lights on a little bit brighter, you can probably see the fish look okay.
Yeah, no one seems to be. Yeah, no, I'm not seeing any behavior that would tell me ick.
Those were the two that looked like they were having problems. My clownfish is irritated. Her anemone is up there in a container.
Yeah.
So she's taken to the Duncan.
Yeah, they'll do that. That's the only problem with clowns occasionally, too, is that they'll kill your Euphyllias, Duncans, and stuff because they'll try to host it. And some will. You know what's really funny is that I found that elegance corals will take it better. But elegance corals are so expensive. It's like, what a risk, right? You know, like, really? Yeah. But no, it's definitely stop that. There we go. Back to mine. Present.
Yeah, and you can see the male. He's a Wyoming.
Yeah.
Still looking for his anemone. He won't leave the spot.
Nope. He'll be looking for him all till pretty much till you put one back there.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was stinging this Superman monopora, so
Yeah, that's what I was trying to explain to Lisa. Like, anemones are fine, but you got to remember that if they get it in their head, they can just move on over and whap. You know, so if you get into coral, you know, they're not as much fun.
yeah, I had it sitting in the sand right about this spot here where that sand on a rock that, I pulled out of my other tank, and I came home one day and it had moved, to the rock over there by where I had those Gregonias.
Yeah.
And I was not happy.
No, I should imagine not. No. So you have a look at mine here. There we go. So you can tell. Look at the difference between yesterday and now on that rock. You know, no more green, no more. In fact, you can look at the corals and see more of the nasty stuff than you can off of that rock.
Yeah, I was noticing that.
And now what that blending is going to do? Look at the gut on that guy. Look at him. Yeah. It's empty calories, buddy. It's empty calories. It's not doing anything for you. Yeah, but he'll. Great thing is he does that, and you see how it's spitting out the air, spitting out the bubbles, and he puts it up in the column, and then it gets taken away. So it's like, that's fine. Go to town. But I got to glue that all back together. Bloody well fell apart on me. Wife's going to be semi-pissed at me. No, I was scrubbing with the, was trying to do it, and I shouldn't have sat it down. I should have left it in the air so that while I was doing it, I could hold the piece that I was scrubbing versus what I was doing, and it just broke the glue. So what I'll do eventually is I'll get in there and brave the clowns nipping the hell out of me and um, glue it in place anyway. So, but actually, it all sat together fairly well. I'm just not going to say anything, and if she doesn't notice, I'm just going to leave it. Yeah, I'll have to get at that one on the right again, but that one's so much easier to deal with than that one was. Yeah. No, I know what she wanted there, and I know what I got to try to do there. So we'll see. She might say, "No, I like it the way it is." Good, leave it.
That's the. There's always compromise, right?
Yeah. So,
Like I
but
told
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I told my wife I didn't want too many softies in this new tank, and next thing I know, I turn around and there's a toadstool in there.
Yeah, she buy that?
uh, she has an affinity for those sorts of things.
Yep, mine too. Mushrooms, toadstools, leathers. I'm like, oh, okay.
She treats my LFS guy. His son has autism, and my wife treats him.
Right.
At home, it's just kind of a trade-off. We trade stuff, her treatments for various things, and she'll tell him, "Hey, do you have any cool mushrooms, or do you have any cool that?" And she'll show up at his house, and he'll bring stuff over from his shop and hand it off to her as semi sort of payment.
Yep.
He'll come home with something, and I'll go, "Oh man, what the heck?" So now I've got tons of frags in this tank, and I know once they grow out, they're all going to be crowded. I was hoping it wouldn't be, there wouldn't be so much stuff in there.
Yeah.
And just let it grow.
Yeah, I hear you. Now, see, this is where I would tell someone you be careful. Now, my impatience says to grab that other rock and give it a scrape and scrub, and I'm like, no, that's probably a little too much for one day. So it's working out.
Yeah, that's the key with all of this, right? Is patience.
Yeah. Don't jump in too quick. Now, mind you, I'm doing the same thing, and I have things to combat what's going on. But you know what? If I go in there today and I clean up with the airline tubing all that excess algae sitting in the sand, and I get at that rock and just give it a light scraping with the brush in the tank, you know what I mean, instead of trying to do anything else. And I just got to be careful of the clowns attacking me because they can impale themselves on the brush, right? So it's kind of, I'll put one hand over the left for them to attack while I scrape with the other one, right?
Yeah.
But I'll just do it gentle, and hopefully within, I'd probably say the next maybe week, we'll be down to just rock. So I think so. Anyway, I hope that's the plan. Anyway.
Yeah, it's all a matter of patience.
Yeah. So if you look up front, you can see those Montipora right there, front and center, that I got the other day, and they're polyped out and they're doing all right. So Montipora setosa, Jesus, I'm gonna have to look that up. That's gonna bother me now that I don't know. Montipora.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. I've got two others. I've got two setosas in my tank as well. A pink one that I thought was lost for sure, and then my pistol shrimp pushed it out from its hole, and a green one. They're kind of neat looking.
There it is, Montipora. So it's basically green digitata is the way to look at it. Montipora digitata. Yeah, but it's Montipora setosa is the one that I'm running here.
Yeah, it's still a small frag yet, but I don't know if you can see that pink one.
Oh. And pop this back up, and we'll put you on present. Yep, there it is. Yep.
So
you see that.
Setosa, and so is this green one right here.
Yep.
So yeah, when I got it, I didn't. It was just a single stick. I realized it was going to branch out quite like that. And this, where did it go? That pink one right there is the one that I found down here in this hole.
Yep. Mine does it too. They disappear, and if you're lucky, the pistol pushes it back out at some point. But I've lost Zofrags to that guy. Little crapper.
Yeah, he was kind enough to bring it back out of his hole for me. I don't know, a hermit crab or snail or something must have pushed it
off, and then he used it as building material. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, definitely. It's a lot of fun. The coral part, I can't wait to kind of get back in a big way. But it's definitely been just dealing with the tank itself and getting it balanced out. Right, that 120, because I reuse old sand. I think just went through a almost like old tank syndrome. So there was no hydrogen sulfide, but still, I think I was damn close. Yeah. So that's due for a big cleaning again shortly too. That's going to be fun. Brewing up 40 gallons of water and doing a big ass change.
This was a mushroom my wife brought home the other day.
Well, that's a nice looking mushroom. Don't let my wife see that. So that's a semi-bounce.
It is.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Not quite a jawbreaker, but really close, eh?
Yeah, and then there's that one that she brought home on the same day. It's super lime green. It's kind of crazy. Got an orange and anyhow, that's the sort of stuff she likes to bring home.
I'm a Zoa guy. I'm all about Zoas.
Yeah. Where did they go? Oh, man. You're going to get punched, dog. He's attacking the cat.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yep, you got to love dogs and cats living together.
Well, he just got back from training. You'd think he'd be a lot better behaved, but the only thing
I used to train dogs. Yeah, so I worked for a guard dog company, and actually got to do guard dog work, and it was interesting.
Well, he's a hunting dog, and that's all they trained him for. It wasn't obedience or anything like that.
Yeah.
And so he thinks it's his job to woodland creatures and cats and.
Yep. Gotta love it, eh?
Yeah. Anyhow.
Nope.
So how many people are watching?
I think we're down to me and you again. We had a few people in here. I'm just going to have a look just to see how many are over at RCW. I'm probably going to guess a lot. No, not as much as I would have assumed. Yeah, 29 people are over there. But Aaron, Mike Aaron's over there, so that usually has drawn a few. Yeah. That's all right with me.
This is the hound.
To me, they're just dogs. I had a Rottweiler. She lived to 12, and I haven't had one since. And the wife's just trying to nag me into getting a pug. And I'm like, well, I prefer a French bulldog if I was going to do anything, because it's still small, but it's a bulldog. Preferably with like an English bulldog, but they have issues with stairs eventually.
Yeah, we've had we've had 2 pugs since my wife and I have been married, and they're okay dogs. They just want to be your friend. But
Yeah.
and I had to realize that, I suppose. I've always had Labradors and things like that.
Yeah, I was a big dog guy myself. Big dogs, like my big dogs, Dobermans and Rotties, and I had a pit bull when I was a teenager. An old American red nose and such. But all of a sudden, I just started to like smaller dogs. To just, even though they're not technically easier to handle, they kind of are. So tend to be.
Larger dogs are quicker to learn. I never could get a pug to lay down.
Nope. No, definitely not. Here, John, see if it works for you. Oh, wrong thing. Right, I got to go back and copy again.
Bite.
There we go. I'm not sure what's going on with that today, but it's bugging me. You want to pop in, John? Feel free. 3 thumbs up. Can't beat that. Oh, my video's done. Yay, I can turn that off. There he is.
It worked.
That it did. Can't beat that. How's life treating you today?
Just at lunch right now.
Yeah.
Woke up to realizing that apparently there was some drama on the live stream after I went to bed.
Oh, yeah. Okay. On yours. You're talking about after I shut down. Everyone jumped over to yours there to kind of keep the chat alive, so to speak.
Yeah. And I left it up, and I had to go help the girlfriend with some stuff, and then I was like, and they're having a good time. I'll just leave it up, whatever, and went to bed. And let's do any of y'all know Rob's Reef?
Rob's Reef.
Yeah,
I've heard the name. Can't say.
He was in your live. He wasn't on live, but he came from your stream over when everybody else did.
Right.
Joined in. It's like, okay, whatever. The first time on live stream, he just started cussing and dropping the F-bomb. Lisa ended up kicking him out. He was drinking and...
Yeah, you gotta, trolls come in many forms. He probably didn't mean to be. If he was drinking, he probably didn't mean it, or he could have.
Oh, yeah.
But it's definitely one of those things when you're dealing with somebody. I don't know. I have personally, like I said, I thought it was funny that I had thumbs down. Right? I'm like, okay, apparently, talking about reef tanks in general is a thumbs down event. But it was definitely an interesting, event. And then to have that's a little weird. I've never personally had anybody really be problematic. I've had to remove one person out of the chat because. Death Mage was there, and Lisa and Tina, and then the comment came up, and I won't say what it was, but it was definitely derogatory towards show me your blah blah blah. And it's like that I expected. That's going to happen, especially with a bunch of horny teenagers and men in the world that you got nothing better to do than troll out looking for that. Good luck with that, bud. This is YouTube.
Oh yeah. Well, Lisa and Tina and everybody handled it really well. I was
good.
This morning I was like, really, you're gonna sit there and do that, knowing that I'm not there, because I said I'd be back and I wasn't back. Hence why I made Lisa a moderator before I left.
Yep.
And so I had to do a little short YouTube live this morning taking out the trash.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's too bad.
Like, wow.
That's too bad. And that's just it, right? So if you have a look, I don't know if you can see my tank, but there's a hydrogen peroxide treatment for that rock on the left. So if you look at it compared to, yeah, it's too bad. Well, you'll get to see a little later, but you can tell what doing a physical removal with that versus the other side, which was mostly just doing a peroxide dump on the rock. So now it's like, okay, well, we're almost back to normal. I bet you give it tomorrow and there'll be next to nothing on that rock. It'll just be plain rock again, the way it should be.
Okay, so are you talking about the where it says Craig?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that had me confused because it just had the circle with a person symbol in it as you talking. So, okay. Yep. What is all that?
In the tank there? Oh, it's algae. That's just what on the right rock in the back. That is hair algae, green hair algae that happened because of a die-off. I won't go into details. It was a fresh tank, and I let my wife do the rock work. I guess I'll go into the details. And I left it out overnight, so it dried out. So there's a bacteria film that died on the rock. So when I set the tank up, it led to a bit of a nutrient density on the rock. Boom, algae. No big deal. I let it run for almost a month now, and I went, nope, okay, it's time to kind of get a little more physical with it. And I would reach in and pluck, but my cats are bad, or not my cats, well, they're bad too. But those two clowns, they'll bite me to death. Like I can go show you now. I can go stick my hand in the tank. They'll attack me almost instantly.
That's how my clowns are.
So, and it's okay, but they're getting really good at finding the soft spots and biting me. So, but
yeah, I mean, it's mine don't hurt. It's just like, oh, okay. So you want to sit there and bite me?
Oh, mine leap out of the water to get my hand.
Oh wow, mine's not that bad.
Yeah, these guys, and they're big enough now. They're actually good at biting. So I have to ignore it, right? So the rock on the left I took out today, and unfortunately didn't go back together properly. But I'll fix it later. But if you look at the difference between manual removal with the peroxide treatment versus the right side just being peroxide treatment, big difference, right? So I did forget one thing, and I panicked a little, but I just waited it out, made sure nothing happened. I forgot to rinse the rock with fresh salt water before I put it back in. So there was a huge oxygen explosion off the rock, right? Yeah, but it's doing good.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
So. But everybody's alive, except I'm not sure about the clown goby because I couldn't find him before I pulled the rock. So,
yeah.
Hopefully he wasn't in there when I was being, I didn't see him. I checked it over pretty good. And I made sure in the bathtub where I was doing this. So I dry the bathtub out, right? I rinse it really good, make sure it's clean. Then rinse it like viciously. Then I dry it with a towel with the plug in. And then I do the work on it. Rinse it with salt water to keep the biofilm alive and whatnot, and then I spray it with the peroxide, rinse it off one more time, put it back in the tank. I never found him, so he didn't fall out of the rock or anything, but hopefully he didn't have to sit through that, right? So,
yeah, that'd be awful.
Yeah. I've had them live. So, but generally I'm a little more thorough, but this time around it was just, I kind of jumped at it right away because I was doing a video too about cleaning a used tank. So that's ready to go up here shortly.
So I'll definitely check that out later.
Yeah, I gotta pop it up here, and then I'm trying to. My sugars are swinging a little today, so I can feel I'm diabetic. Yeah, so I'm starting to feel that from all the little too much exertion without eating. So.
Yeah, I'm not diabetic, but I don't know if, as I get older if I'm starting to become hypoglycemic or what. But because if I don't eat, I get migraines bad.
Could be. You'd know. All you'd have to do is get someone with a glucose meter, and when you're feeling like that, test your sugar and see if you're low. Right. So if you're well below 5, that would hint. There's no really such hypoglycemic is a term for diabetic in a low sugar state.
Yeah.
Right. There's no condition called hypoglycemia. It's just you're diabetic or you're not. Right. So, but
Yeah.
that could be a thing, is that your sugars are diving low, which would be hypoglycemic. Hyperglycemic, which is my problem, is that my body doesn't know what to do with the sugars once it gets it in there. And I wind up, now I've never been as high as a buddy. A buddy of mine tested his sugars one day at work, and I said, you got to go to the hospital right now. He was 27.9. You're supposed to be 5. So he was in danger of something called acid ketosis, which is basically your blood turns into acid on you. So
yeah,
it's not a good way.
My buddy,
go ahead.
My buddy just he got his. It started off with a toe, then it went to 2 toes, then 3 toes, and then they took his leg because he's got diabetes and he wasn't taking care of himself.
No, and I've got that too. I've got what it's called diabetic neuropathy, right? So the blood vessels in my feet have decided that they don't want to work quite right, and all they've done thus far is mess up my nerves. But I got to be careful, massage my feet. I got to watch my toenails and everything else, because if I get an infection, it can be bad. But so
yeah,
man, I wish you guys could see the colors on that flurry. Around every one of the dots on her body is like a blue. It was black, orange, and then a blue. It's just gorgeous on her, right?
So yeah. Yeah, clouds are starting to get more and more blue on them every day.
Yeah.
Still gonna be a while till we get a full blue one, but one day it will happen.
Yeah, I love that that picture that shows up on the internet now of the lightning maroon, where they changed the maroon to a blue, and people thinking this is a real fish, right?
Yeah.
No, folks, probably not ever, but you can keep thinking that. And you don't even want to know what that clown would cost.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, when lightning maroon showed up, they were $2,200, and now you can get a lightning for somewhere between 60 to 120, depending on his pattern. So
yeah.
All right. Well, listen, guys, I'm going to cut it short, and I'm okay and everything. It's just probably going to go do a couple of things very quick and do a little checkup on the tank and make sure I don't going to do any emergency work in there. And then I'm probably going to go check out Reefing Community Worldwide, because I got invited to go over and whatnot. So I will oblige.
All right. You're good. I got to get in here and get food anyway. So
sounds like a plan. And Jeff, I'll see you over in Reefing Community Worldwide, their stream.
Okay.
The Brits are fun. So talk to you later.
Later,
guys.
Bye.